release forms for CNN to show CNN clips. Anyway, so he started dancing and he was doing his thing. He says, well, we're not going to be able to show that, but that's okay. Because I knew that was going to happen. I worked in media for a while. I worked in an ABC affiliate, WTNH in Hartford, Connecticut, in WTNH in New Haven, Connecticut, CBS affiliate, WFSB in Hartford, Connecticut. I know how the game's played. So, what I did is I got my little 8.5 by 11 glossy photograph. Since they're not going to let me show any of the video clips, I got my picture. And I took it and started right in here. Okay. So anyway, so they got me into the studio here. They got me into the studio, and they said, okay, well, we're going to put you on with Glenn Beck here, and we're going to go on in a couple seconds. I said, okay, fine. So he started the interview. I'll go ahead and play this whole thing. And watch Glenn Beck. Don't look at me while I'm talking. They got a split screen going on. But watch Glenn Beck. Because he's trying to pigeonhole me as some sort of a wacko, a kook, a nutcase. And I'm bringing it back to the facts. I'm bringing it back to quotes. I listened carefully how I dealt with the issue about General Stubblebine, Colonel George Nelson, how many times I mentioned their quotes, and then his follow-up question. And when I came that thing, you're going to see him go, I don't think he thought that the camera was on. Okay? Well, here we go. This is fun. I love it. I love it. They said, well, he really trashed you. I said, yeah, wasn't it great? Oh, I loved it.
Conspiracy theories, sure, they're fun. Help us keep that dream alive that someday we really will walk on the moon, and that next Christmas, your stocking could be stuffed with an Elvis comeback album. Actually, some aren't so fun. Ever since 9/11, a bunch of theorists, otherwise known as people with active imaginations, no common sense, and a lot of time on their hands, have insisted that explosives inside the World Trade Center brought the towers down, that all the victims in the first plane really didn't die because there were no passengers, and that no plane ever hit the Pentagon.
Flight 77, 125 feet wide.
And they're using Jimmy Walter's video. They didn't even want to use mine. They took Jimmy Walter's.
September 11th.
Allegedly? I think yesterday, by releasing this video, the government seems to have taken care of that one in about 10 seconds flat. Or did it? There's a documentary you can't get off of, or you can get on a website, but for some reason, they're not letting you buy it at Blockbuster, and now available is a director's cut that insists all of it is a hoax. Dave von Kleist, you produced it. Tell me, sir, how is this not a plane? Right there. Can we freeze that and show that box? How's that not a plane? That's a big white object of some sort. That's either a plane or a naked Michael Moore headed for the buffet.
It's something, there's no doubt about it, but right. The question is definitively, is that Flight 77? And according to the military experts that have seen our video, 9/11 in plain sight, it is absolutely not. And that's according to a two-star general, General Albert Stubblebine, with 30 years experience in charge of photo analysis at the Pentagon, and also Colonel George Nelson, United States Air Force, with 30 years experience.
He's wrapping his pants.
What is it exactly?
I don't know. I didn't say it was a 757 that hit the Pentagon. That was, of course, the mainstream media, the networks, etc., etc. The question is, if that is Flight 77, a Boeing 757, how do we explain the photographs and the video footage that to this point has not really been addressed in an open and honest forum in the mainstream media?
What needs to be addressed? There is the plane. Wait, let me ask you this.
There is something.
Where are the passengers?
It's really interesting that you couch this entire interview by saying conspiracy theorists, but at no time am I theorizing anything. I'm basing my questions on evidence and photographic evidence and video evidence.
Okay, hang on just a second. That's part of the problem. You don't have a theory. You're saying it could be a plane, it could be a big white elephant. It looks like a plane. That's the most That's the most common sense kind of idea that it is a plane. Give me an idea of what it would be if it's not a plane.
Well, like I said, if I was to try to tell you what I thought it was, then I would be dabbling in conspiracy theory, and that's not what we're about.
I mean,
the point is that the military experts that we've spoken to say the damage that you see at the Pentagon before the collapse, and we have one of the photographs here. They showed that in that brief clip.
Okay.
Here's a photograph. One of the many photographs taken before the collapse of the E-ring. Now, this photograph, for the most part, has been ignored by the mainstream media. It clearly shows the roof line is still intact. It shows that the place had not collapsed yet. It also shows the lawn is untouched. And most importantly, you show me where there is a hole big enough for 757, or is there any wreckage?
Real quick question. Have you talked to any military personnel? General Parton, for one, that will tell you that it was a plane?
That's very curious you would bring up General Parton, because in his interview with the John Birch Society magazine, The New American, he stated that the entire plane vaporized. And yet, Jamie McIntyre on CNN yesterday stated that he had photographed pieces of the cockpit and the fuselage. And Jamie McIntyre also stated on September 11th that upon his close inspection, there were no pieces of recognizable wreckage from any type of a large aircraft. He stated that there was no fuselage, there were no wings, no engines, nothing that you could recognize as a large aircraft.
He's in the corner now. Watch how he responds.
There were some people that were protesters that are in the Pentagon, and they claim that America, the government, has hired Osama bin Laden in this. They've hired an actor to play Osama bin Laden because he has two noses. My question to you, Dave, how much are we paying that actor?
I wouldn't know anything about it.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. What's in Area 51? Is it aliens or office supplies?
Well, actually, I hear there's a whole host of Elvis impersonators there that fly around in black helicopters. You can bring that up, too. What you're doing here is the same thing that so many talk show hosts do. You ignore the message by attacking the messenger.
No, I'm not attacking you, Dave. You seem like a reasonable human being. I just do not believe this at all. I gotta tell you, I have friends, a guy who works for me, in fact, that has a friend that witnessed the plane with his own eyes. I think you are a nut job, but strangely enough, a serious nut job. Dave, I thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. You knocked it out of 9/11.
Thank you.
There you go. There you go. Isn't that amazing the way they do that? But you see, folks, there are a lot of people in media that are aware of what's going on, and some of them are trying to get this information out in a very, shall we say, subtle way. Let me see if I can find this. Now, I'm going to have to apologize right in the beginning because there is something that's, well, you may find offensive. As a matter of fact, South Park is in its... There it is. Okay. Let's get that out of the way. This is South Park. I hate to say this. It is a vile, vulgar, low-class program, but sometimes it's just as funny as you can get. And I don't watch it a whole lot, but once in a while we'll flip them through, and there it is, and oh well. But listen carefully to this little dialogue. In this particular episode, the little fat kid, Cartman. Anyway, he's the guy that talks about. Anyway, Cartman has hooked up with some guy from the 9/11 Truth movement, 911truth.org on his T-shirt. At this particular time, they've taken these kids into the Oval Office, and you got George Bush and Connie Rice and Rumsfeld and all the people standing there. And if you look in the foreground, right about here, you see a body with blood there. They just blew this 9/11 Truth guy. They just blew his brains out. All right? Listen to the dialogue. Now keep in mind that there's only one person on the face of this planet that has said that there was an explosion in the basement before the plane hit up above. Who is it? Willie Rodriguez. Okay. There's only one person who's made a video that suggests that the planes were switched. Hello? All right. So, if that's true, why would they have the following dialogue And are they listening?